In this video, we're going to be talking about the reasons to not buy the TCL Stylus 5G. Stay tuned. Alright everyone, so if you guys know already, I made a video on reasons to buy the TCL Stylus 5G. In that video, I pretty much highlighted some of the things I liked about the TCL Stylus 5G. Over the last 3 weeks of using this device, I've almost been using it for a month now, and I've honestly liked it so far, but there are some downfalls which may be a deal breaker for some people, which is why I'm making these more in-depth videos on why you should buy and why you shouldn't, just to highlight a lot of different things in one video. So we're just going to talk about the things I do not like about this device with the duration I've held this device so far. So this is not really based too much off of specifications as far as like, oh, it doesn't have enough RAM, it doesn't have enough storage, it doesn't have like a high pixel density or anything like that. It's just pretty basic stuff that we're going to be talking about. So getting into the first reason, there is no reverse or wireless charging support on this device, and that is kind of weird that it doesn't have wireless charging since we do have NFC on here. They did take the time to put NFC in here, and that's great, but some people really like wireless charging and it's part of their lifestyle. They like to have Qi wireless chargers all around the house, and they just like to set their phone down on something and they don't really like to use wired charging. So that's a reason that may deter someone from actually purchasing this device, and that is the first reason to not buy it. Second reason is that it does have an outdated USB Type-C 2.0 charging port, so that's not the greatest thing in the world when trying to transfer files. If you guys know, USB 2.0 actually transfers or has a transfer rate of 480 megabits per second, and USB 3.0 actually offers speeds up to 5 gigabits per second, which is about 10 times faster as far as the transferring speed goes. Again, this may not even be a big deal for you. I think 480 megabits per second is fine, honestly. I don't really care that much about that type of stuff, but this may be something that sets a nerve off in somebody on purchasing a phone, so that's why it's the second reason. Third reason is that we only have a single storage and single RAM to choose from. Now, I'm not saying that we have bad storage. We do have 128 gigabytes of internal storage, what I think is adequate for the price that we have, and 4 gigabytes of RAM. Again, I think it's very adequate for the price, but I think it would be cool if they offered a bigger RAM and bigger storage option for the people that want to pay a little bit more, maybe like $50 to $100 more, to just bump it up to 6 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of internal storage. Now, we do have the SD card slot right there to go ahead and expand memory, so that's something that can ascertain the problem with that, but I just feel like it would be pretty cool that we have, you know, better storage and RAM options for maybe $50 to $75 more. I just thought that would have been cool, because some people don't want to have 4 gigabytes of RAM, or some people don't want to just have 128 on there. So I thought it would be cool to, you know, give some more options to people. Fourth reason, it only has a 60 hertz refresh rate. So this is a default refresh rate. So if you're going down from 90 hertz or 120 hertz, you are definitely going to notice the difference. And that's one thing that I really didn't like about this device, was the refresh rate, how it was based off of the default 60 hertz. Now, going from a phone that I believe my phone's at like 144 now, going to this device as a secondary and utilizing it as a secondary device, I can 100% tell every single time this feels a lot slower as far as the refresh rate. Now, for the people going from 90 hertz, you're probably not going to see that much of a dramatic change, but anybody, you know, from 120 to 144 or up, you definitely are going to notice the change, and that may be a reason to deter you from this device. But again, this is one of those cheaper devices, but still, I just want to go ahead and add that in there for anybody that wanted to know about that. Fifth reason is that it has an average camera setup. Now, obviously, the megapixels inside of this camera don't tell the entire story. It has to do with the sensors in here, and as far as the sensors go in low light and stuff, it doesn't really look that good. It's very noisy, it's very washed out, and it's very loud. And one thing that I really don't like about this device has to be those low light photos. As far as taking normal photos, obviously, this is going to be average. This isn't going to be the greatest in the world. This isn't going to be the worst in the world, but I thought I'd just add that this has an average camera. And if you wanted to pay a little bit more, the Galaxy A53 5G is definitely going to offer a much better camera and stabilization and everything else. Also, seeing that this device only has 1080p 30 frames per second for the recording aspect of this, that may deter you. You may want to use 60 or 120 frames per second, or even go up to 4K and try to get a better resolution in a different phone. And you can honestly, as far as the retail price goes, pay $100 more and get the A53 5G from Amazon and call it a day right there. So that's definitely another reason to not buy this device. The next reason is we don't have gyro electronic image stabilization, and that's basically an enhancement technique when electronic processing these photos and stuff. Now, this is something that we see a lot in Google, and I think that's definitely going to be the saving grace for a lot of cheaper phones. And I think that's what Samsung's utilizing on the Galaxy A53 5G, and that's why it seems to be so smooth. But there's no EIS that minimizes the blurring or compensates for device shaking or anything like that on here. So it can be pretty erratic when filming in certain situations, like maybe filming something that has to do with action, like a soccer game or something like that. So that may be another reason you do not want to pick up this device. So if you guys video record a lot and you need a phone for really decent video recording, or at least better than average, this is definitely not going to be the camera for you. Next reason, and obviously this is a big one, and I'm gonna have to make another video on this later on, but someone said these games can run on this phone. But the next reason is this device is not for high-end gaming or even multitasking. You can do multitasking on here, but just not a ton of windows open at the same time. So I would recommend closing all of your recents, or not having a ton of them open, not having like 100 different windows open, because this device will not be able to handle that type of stuff. Also, games like Apex Legends, Call of Duty Mobile, just don't work on here. I tried to make it work multiple times, but they just failed. Now, there was actually somebody commenting on my last video saying that they actually had some of these games work. So we're gonna see if we can go ahead and fix that issue. But yeah, that kind of sucks that we don't have support for those games as of yet. Now, one person says you can actually play those games on here, and we're gonna see if that actually is true, and we're gonna see if we can get this problem solved. So that's one reason definitely to not pick up this phone, and that's honestly a really, really big reason. Now, the next reason has to be that this is a slightly heavy build. So for anybody wanting a smaller phone, definitely this is a huge phone. This is like a phablet, and the reason being is because it has a stylus, obviously. So this can be a good thing, or this can be a bad thing based off of preference, but this is going to be a really big phone. Phone display is 6.8 inches. It is a little bit heavier. It's just a really big phone right here. So if you guys are not used to bigger devices, this can definitely deter you from picking up a device like this. And last but not least, this last one is honestly kind of silly, but I've had a ton of comments, more than I can even count, about this, so you tell me if it's dumb or not. But the last reason has to be that this only comes with one default color as of now. I'm sure they'll release more colors as this device goes up in its success. If it does, I'm sure that will actually happen. But for right now, we just have this black, or this charcoal color, which I honestly like. It's not really an issue for me because, you can actually get cases and stuff like that. I'm hoping that different companies are going to make more skins for phones like this. It's kind of probably not profitable for smaller devices or smaller companies like TCL like that. But this device only has one color, and some of you may want something like a pink phone, a red phone, a blue phone. I'm not sure. I'm not really too picky about that type of stuff, but I know some of you are, so that may be another reason to not pick up this phone. But yeah, everyone, those are the reasons to maybe not pick up this phone. Obviously, I'm not trying to bash this phone at all. I think this is a really decent phone, especially at the price tag, so I'm not trying to bash this phone. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't pick up up this phone at all. I'm just giving you some practical reasons that may deter you from picking up this device. So this is not at all butchering this phone or, you know, putting a bad name on this device at all. So definitely for the owners out on this device that have this device that are getting offended, don't, because I think this is a good device at the price tag, especially if you get it at port-in or you get a really good deal on this phone, or maybe even getting it for free. So definitely let me know in the comment section down below if you guys have any questions about anything else. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability, but hopefully this video did give you some value. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. This has been Safon from TechRight. Peace out, Tech Gang.